All right. Good. It is almost afternoon, so it's still, I guess, good morning still. Good morning, Jen. So nice to
Um,
finally connect with you. We've been chatting and emailing, and now we finally get a chance to meet face to face.
yes, nice to meet you again.
And thank you. And thank you for letting me record this part of the interview. So we talked a little bit about one role that I'm helping someone um, fill a very important need here in Volusia County. And I wanted to preface by saying that you currently live in Georgia, South
That's good.
Georgia, but you have a property here in Ponce Inlet, and you can make a move. You said like within the next few weeks of an offer, week or two, based upon the needs.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, wonderful. So why don't we go ahead and talk a little bit about your real estate career, your support roles that you've had. So if you want to go ahead and get started and tell me a little bit about that, I guess maybe starting at the beginning, like how did you get involved in real estate and where are you now?
Okay. So I got started actually. I was teaching school, and then I retired from that, and I became the receptionist at a local real estate office. And while I was there, this is kind of a cool story. I would share stories with my grandmother, my nanny is what I called her, about how all the realtors would do and how exciting it was and how interested I was. And one day I was sitting there and she sent me a check for $500 and she just said, I want you to get your real estate license. I know you can do it. So I still have that letter framed. And so I started working on it, and then I got promoted to the marketing coordinator position, which I enjoyed that a lot. I did a lot of campaigns for different agents, and I liked that each agent had a different approach, and I would learn I would take from them what I would do down the road, like looking backwards. I took from what I learned, how they marketed and the things that they did, and I cultivated into like my own kind of program to make it unique to me. So eventually I decided that I was going to become full-time realtor, and I've done that for 13 years. I've been with three different companies in it. And I've enjoyed it. And I just feel like I can expand to somewhere else, using the knowledge I have from being a teacher, from being a marketing coordinator. I just feel like I could really use what I know, even from a different area, to help a different team. And it's still the same line of business, different area, but the same technique and foundations that are there that I think I could use to help.
Okay, great. Now being a real estate agent right now, what would interest you into the shift to the operations side here if you relocate here to Volusia County?
Um, I think that's a different, uh, interesting question. I'm very good, I feel, at organizing and keeping people on task. The paperwork, just kind of like the checklist, giving assignments. And I think that comes from the teacher in me in the past, like checking things off. And I like checking things off and making sure things are run smoothly. And I think being in the business side of it, I know how crazy and chaotic that it could be. So me being on the other side, operations side, I would be able to understand how you have to literally change hats, like sometimes in a minute and sometimes in an hour, sometimes in a couple days. It's just, I feel like I have that experience now that I've been a realtor for that long, that I see how it goes. So I would be more patient and understanding of how to help a team or others during all that chaos.
Great. Um, so I'd love to hear a little bit about your organizational skills. So if you were to pick like one tool, one app, or like one system you can't live without to keep your own life organized, what would you pick?
um, I like my calendar. Of course, I use that a lot. And I also use a software program. It's called App Files. And it's basically, I guess you could it could be considered the same as DocuSign. But it's like an online file system. Like each file has its own email address, and I can upload things from my phone. I can do contracts from there. I could be in another state and do it. And I trained the agents at the other office when we first got it on it. So I know all about editing it, and we can pretty much do everything just right there on my phone with it. And I use it pretty much daily, and not just for real estate. I use it for personal um, things I need to keep up with, taxes and anything that would be on a paper. It just goes right in there. So I
Okay.
probably would not do things without that program.
Great. Um, so let's think back of like maybe a time at work where you saw a problem that nobody else, was fixing. Um, how did you fix it? Did you make a change? Did you handle it? Like what did you do?
Um, well, I feel like most situations usually have a fix. It might not be the one that you want it to be. It might not be my fix. It might be the other person gets it that time, but I have to think of a specific problem at work.
And I mean, you
It's
could go
funny.
back to when you were teacher, it could be your real estate, sometime that you like walked in, you're like, wow, this isn't working. And nobody else is fixing it. So maybe you came in and made a change.
Um, well, I could go back to teaching of, I taught elementary school, and sometimes I realize that adults are like working with elementary school age children. But, I had one kid who had really bad allergies, or really, like, it was a real problem. He was very insecure about it, and we had to come up with a way that he could get his relief using his medication without it being a big deal to the other students. Or why is so and so getting to go inside when we're all out here, or we're in here? Why does he get to go outside, do something different? But we had to come up with a system to where he felt comfortable and not insecure of when he needed to go apply his medication, where he could do that privately, but also still feel included in the classroom, to where he wasn't being pulled out for something. So we just came up with a system that he felt comfortable with. And I feel like I came up with the system, and helped guide his parents, see if it worked for them, if that was appropriate, what if it felt good for him or whatever. And it turned out he had his own little area to do what he needed to do, and not feel, isolated with his condition.
Sure. Okay. So let's pivot back a little bit more to the office side for the next question. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, how does a messy spreadsheet or an organized folder drive you crazy? So let's say 1, it really drives you crazy, to 10, it's no big deal.
um to me personally, like, I'd say it's closer to being a no big deal, because it can be fixable, and if it's working for somebody and that works for them, then that's okay. But for me, I would say it's no big deal, because if that system is working, then it's no big deal. But if it needs to be cleaned up and organized, then you just clean it up and organize it and make it not a big deal.
So if it was on your desk and you were managing, let's say, this new spreadsheet to keep everyone organized, are you taking the time to clean it up, or are you okay leaving it as is?
Oh, I would probably clean it up. Me
Yeah,
personally, I'd clean it up.
perfect. So in a really fast-paced environment, details can get missed, like busy office, lots of calls, emails coming in, customers, all of the things.
Mhm.
If you were to think back, let's talk about real estate for this one, that maybe you dropped the ball on something. We've all done it. What was that, and how did you fix it so it didn't happen again?
Um, oh, I could think of like the first, like, perhaps it was getting close to be a closing time, and the home warranty had not been ordered, and it should have been specified who was going to order it. That would have helped. Buyer's agent or listing agent, that could have helped. But I learned from that to make sure to specify who's ordering the home warranty or who's ordering the septic to be pumped, whatever it was. So in order to fix it, luckily I had connections or network or people available that I could email during the closing to hurry up, get it ordered that day, and it was no big deal. The paperwork came over email. That was fine. But I usually like all my things done before closing day. I don't want to be sitting there at the closing. I like it 3 or 4 days, which we all know is not possible. Things get dropped, and I kind of just learned to double, triple check what needed to be done and who needed to do it. And it luckily that was a easy fix to where it didn't delay closing, it didn't delay the lender, it didn't delay anybody. But I kind of learned about making checklists and organizing things in your calendar of, okay, this needs to be done this day, this needs to be done this day, and then there's no hiccups at closing. Then it's kind of like it's a happy day for everybody.
Okay. And I have one final question. I'm going to kind of pivot back to that first question that I asked you. And maybe the way that I worded it wasn't, the best. So I want to think about a different way to say it. So let's think back maybe like when you started the reception role or, started supporting the office and that you came in and maybe there was something in the office that needed improvement. Can you think of anything that may have needed improvement and, what that was and how you handled it? Like for me, as a recruiter, it's imperative that I keep all my talent nice and organized. And when I joined the team here at Ronstadt, they had no system. It was just an absolute mess. So I created a system, and I also, worked on organizing like all my videos like I'm doing with you. No one thought that was that big of a deal, but now that we have it, it really saves everybody a lot of time. We're able to share talent and things like that. So that's kind of, where I was thinking of for that question. Can you think of any time or any instance?
Coming into the office, let's see. I could think back to like we were in charge of a certain fundraiser, and we had to come up with a system for when people wanted to come in to buy their tickets, and how many tickets, to basically organizing who bought these tickets. Did they get their actual tickets? Did they get their gift bag? And so what I did was I had to use the office or the conference room next to it to come up with a way to stamp, color code, organize to make sure we knew that this person gets 2 tickets and that they've picked it up. And so it kind of was a system that I had to develop. And then when the agent on duty would come sit at the desk, then you'd have to teach them. So we made it simple by having like 3 or 4 steps instead of just checking off this person got this got this. So it was more of a system that had to be created inside another area that was easily, so they could pick it up and also still continue to do their work. And it worked out, and we sold lots of tickets, and we did that fundraiser for about 4 or 5 years. So it worked.
Oh, wow. What was the charity that you were raising funds for?
It was Fayette County Tour of Homes for animal rescue.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that I probably asked you enough questions. I know it's always a little nerve-wracking on these videos. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop this part of the interview, but don't go anywhere. We got a few more things to chat about.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Stop this.